For weeks, investigators had nothing. 17-year-old Emily Carter vanished after leaving school on a routine afternoon, with only a bus CCTV clip placing her near her neighborhood before all signals from her phone stopped completely. No messages, no financial activity, no location pings, nothing. The case began to fade until forensic analysts reviewing archived telecom records found something impossible. Emily's device had reappeared in network logs 43 days after her disappearance. At first, it looked like a system error, but deeper verification confirmed a full authentication event to public Wi-Fi inside a major international airport. The connection lasted 4 minutes and 27 seconds before dropping off again. The device identifier matched her phone exactly with no spoofing or duplication. That single record immediately shifted the entire investigation because it meant someone physically carried her phone into one of the most heavily monitored locations in the country long after she was last seen. Investigators pulled airport security logs and began reviewing CCTV footage for the exact timestamp. The terminal was crowded, but analysts isolated a figure moving through a public concourse, carrying a phone consistent with Emily's device. The individual never approached boarding gates or security checkpoints, and instead exited the terminal shortly after entering, matching the exact duration of the Wi-Fi connection window. Cross-referencing entry systems and parking records revealed a vehicle that entered shortly before connection and left shortly after, with no airline reservation or travel record tied to it. The behavior suggested the airport visit was intentional, but not for travel. Meanwhile, digital forensic teams reanalyzed Emily's phone history and discovered faint cellular pings in the days after her disappearance, each briefly activating near transit corridors like bus depots and rail hubs. When mapped chronologically, these signals formed a pattern consistent with structured movement rather than random drift, suggesting the device had been transported along major transportation routes. This shifted the case from a missing person investigation to a possible coordinated movement scenario involving multiple individuals. Attention returned to the airport footage where analysts enhanced imagery and noted consistent behavioral patterns in the unidentified subject. Familiarity with terminal layout, avoidance of surveillance-heavy zones, and direct exit routes that indicated prior knowledge of the facility. Financial and rideshare records near the airport revealed a prepaid account used repeatedly across transit hubs, linking the subject to multiple locations under investigation. The turning point came when deeper inspection of the Wi-Fi authentication logs revealed a partial data synchronization attempt from Emily's phone during the brief connection. Although the transfer failed due to disconnection, fragments of location history were recovered, showing coordinates tied to sites already flagged in unrelated missing person and trafficking-related investigations. This connected Emily's case to a broader network under surveillance by multiple agencies. Investigators traced the device proximity data and identified an adult male already known in prior unsolved cases involving vulnerable youth recruitment patterns. His travel history showed repeated presence across airports and transit hubs matching the same corridor system seen in Emily's device pings. Surveillance teams tracked his movements across jurisdictions until coordinated warrants were executed on linked properties, where digital devices stored communications and location logs confirmed structured coordination between multiple individuals. Among the recovered data were additional confirmations that Emily's phone had been actively handled after her disappearance and moved between control locations. The airport connection, once thought to be a glitch, became the anchor point that exposed the entire network because it captured a real-time digital fingerprint of movement that aligned with physical surveillance and financial tracking. Further review of parking footage and transit cameras confirmed Emily had likely remained alive days after her disappearance, contradicting earlier assumptions about timing and escalation. The investigation concluded that her phone was not used by her directly at the airport, but was carried there by a member of the network during a brief convergence with another associate, causing the accidental Wi-Fi connection that preserved the critical forensic timestamp. That single 4-minute window allowed investigators to reconstruct movement routes, identify key suspects, and map a coordinated system operating across multiple cities. Multiple arrests followed as evidence converged from digital logs, surveillance footage, and transportation records, turning what began as a silent missing person case into a large-scale multi-jurisdictional operation. For investigators, it became a defining example of how even the smallest digital event can unlock an entire chain of hidden activity. For Emily's family, it marked the first real clarity after weeks of uncertainty, reshaping everything they thought they knew about her disappearance. The phone connected for only a few minutes, but those few minutes changed the entire investigation.